Students, we're going to do a little factoring. I'm going to begin with a very basic problem here. So 12x squared plus 20x. Now we want to factor. So we've got to ask ourselves what number is common to everybody. I got a 12 and a 20. I think 4 goes into both of them, and that's the highest number. So 4, okay. Now also both of them have an x, so 4x. And then I'm going to factor out, this is a very important concept, what times 4x gives me 12x squared, and that's a 3x, plus, all right, what number do I need here that would multiply by 4x to give me 20x, and that would be 5. Now that is the basics of factoring. If you are having trouble, you could use what I call factor training wheels. Now, you know that 4x goes into both of them, so you could actually divide out here, okay, and use what we learned last time and see that the 3x is there, and see the 5 there, and the 5 would be down here. You can do that, and that will be something that you can do. So keep that in mind. Now, let's see, what do I want to do? I want to go and I want to erase this. And I want to do another problem. All right, so the next one is x squared plus 8x plus 15. Now this is a trinomial, so one older way of doing that is to ask yourself, hey, I've got 15 over there, and it's a plus. Notice my middle sign is a plus here, so both of the signs are going to have to be plus. What are two numbers to multiply, give me 15, add and give me 8. 3 and 5, they multiply, give me 15, add and give me 8. Now remember, there were other factors here like 1 and 15. But you found your combination here, so you're just gonna write your factor, x plus 3 and x plus 5. So that's how you do that problem. Okay, now let's do another problem. How about x squared minus 5x minus 14? Okay. Well, again, we're looking for two factors. Now we're looking for two factors that multiply and give me 14, subtract and give me 5. Now watch this. Multiply, give you 14, subtract, and give you 5. That would be a 7 and a 2. Remember, the 7 has to be negative because the middle term, whatever that sign is, that's going to be the larger number. So keep that in mind. Okay. All right, now let's do a little bit more difficult problem. Let me pick another color here. So 2x squared plus 5x plus 2. Now when you do this problem, since this first number is not 1 anymore, it's going to be a little more difficult. However, you could do trial and error. It's not that many possibilities. And I'm going to show you maybe a new method to you, but this is a method that would work practically on all of these problems. I call it the X factor, okay? So this is something I saw done, and I thought it works pretty good. The first thing you do is you put your first term right there. The second thing you do is you multiply that first term by the last term. 2 times 2 is a plus 4. Okay, Now remember, you're looking for combinations that will give you that plus 5. I'm going to put that right there. Now, if you just ask yourself the right question, it's pretty straightforward. What are two numbers that multiply and give me a plus 4 and add and give me a 5? Those numbers would be 4 and 1. A plus 4 and a plus 1 would work. And basically, essentially, you're done with the problem. Let me explain why I say that. I want you to start by writing your factors and copy this 2 into each one in the beginning. 2x and 2x. Okay, now copy these special numbers. That guy plus 4 and this guy plus 1. Okay, now if you could divide out, or you could factor out a number out of these, please do it. That would be a 2. This one I can't, it's just a 1. So just divide that out. That's x plus 2, and that's going to be 2x plus 1. And sure enough, if you did the FOIL, you'd have a 2x and an x, which would give you a 5x. That is a powerful idea. So do keep that in mind. Now let me see if I can get rid of all of the information in that problem. Now, I'm going to do one a little bit more difficult. So here we go. Matter of fact, I did all of this just to do this problem. I'm trying to find another color. There we go. All right, so 15 x squared minus 14x plus 3. Okay, now that is a very, very interesting problem. And you may get disturbed by the possibilities that it has. It's not that many, but I will show you, if you remember the x factor problem method, it will help you out. So what went here? 15. Okay. Now what is 15 times 3? 45. Okay. That's a plus 45, right? All right. We're looking for combinations that'll give us that negative 14. Now here's the question that you need to ask. What are two numbers that multiply give me 45, add and give me 14? Now you could go over here to the side and you could say, well, 1 and 45, 3 and what? 1, 5, 5 and 9. Now this is what you're looking for, okay? Or you could just know it. So 5 and 9. Now remember, they have to add to the negative 14, so the only way that's going to work is if both of them are negative. Remember, two numbers that multiply and give me a positive 45, add and give me a negative 14. All right, now remember, I told you before, when you get to this part, you're basically done. So here's what we're going to do. What we're going to do is we're going to copy that 15x. We're going to do minus 5. We're going to copy the 15x, and we're going to do a minus 9. Now, is there a common factor here? Looks like 5. Is there a common factor here? Looks like 3. All right, so now what do I have? I have 5x. No, that's not right. I have 3x minus 1, and then I have 5x minus 3. This is a very powerful idea, okay? You're able to get those answers fairly quickly and efficiently. So I like that, okay? I like to do things and it not be complicated, but I don't want it to oversimplify things. All right, last problem. For some reason, my pen is not as big as I'd like it to be, so we're going to try this one more time. All right, that's not good. All right, so here we go, 72 x cubed plus 30 x squared minus 12x. Factor completely. Before I do anything else, I need to divide out common factors with everybody. Well, if I look at the 12 here, basically I have a 6. 6 goes in everybody here. and then what would be left over would be a 2, but 12 may go into that, but not that, so I'm going to take a 6. Now, x. Here I have 3 factors, 2 factors, and 1 factor. Can only pull out what's common, right? Greatest common factor. You could use your training wheels if you want to. So what is that? That's 1, 2, x squared plus 5x minus 2. All right? Now, we know we've got it factored completely here because there's no common factors over here. Now we're going to try to break this part down, and we're going to do that by using our x factor. Kind of sounds like some kind of makeup deal. Okay, so this is 12. Multiply it by negative 2, I get negative 24. Remember, we're looking for a plus 5, What are two numbers? Multiply and give me a negative 24, add and give me 5. I'm thinking 8 and 3. Okay? Now, it's got to, well, if this was negative, that would be negative 8 times a positive 3, and if I added them together, I'd have a negative 5. But I need a positive 5, so I'm going to write my 8 here, and I'm going to write my 3 here. But my 3 must be negative, and my 8 positive. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to erase this over here. Give me a little room, okay? And I'll go back to my pen. So remember how I told you to do this, 12x and 12x. We're going to do the plus 8 here. We're going to do the minus 3 here. Okay, can I divide something common here? Looks like a 4. Can I divide something common here? Looks like a 3. Okay, right? Because we're really, in essence, we're trying to deal with this 12, correct? So this is going to be a 3x plus 2, and this is going to be a 4x minus 1. Now, how do you know this is right? Well, if you multiplied the first, you get the 12x squared. The last, you get the negative 2. And this is going to be 8x minus 3x is indeed the 5x. So these two factors, along with the 6x, this is your final answer right here, okay? So hopefully that helps you out and that makes sense. Hope that helped you out, okay? All right.